Welcome to Ladbroke Grove, the home of Ace Trains. We've been going for about 25 years, and unlike other manufacturers who claim to have reached their centenaries, we know that our period of production has produced far more in terms of variety and invention and quality than anything that has come before. Our French range, which was a very early production of 6 or so different liveried French engines based on the Hornby concept of the 1920s for the French market. These magnificent models in 1/43rd scale of the through London trolleybuses reflect the ones I travelled on to school and elsewhere in London, and strangely enough they were made in St. Petersburg, which in Russia of course, and that was very surprising for a venture to be set up there to make English buses. Also in this sequence there is a 3-car German Triebwagen based on our Nord coaches, and they were originally destined to be sold by us into the German market, but in fact it didn't work out. We supplied the coaches and they were successfully made in southern Germany. Our first attempt at a scale appearance locomotive was the A4, which has proved very popular over the years, and here you see it in the form that Mallard ran on its record-breaking run of 126 miles per hour in the 1930s. This one was a variation which was the Silver Jubilee, and we were unique in making virtually all the streamlined trains of the pre-war era. And here is Mallard coming round. This time you will see in a moment the observation car which it ran on its summer timetable. Great Western Castle class roars through with the Cheltenham Flyer or similar express. That was an extremely popular engine that we made, being in the Great Western area in West London. And the locomotive you saw running through with the excursion coaches was in fact not one of ours. It was made by Seven Mills, who went ahead with a project that we were going to we had listed as our production. Now you saw King Arthur class, which is our latest locomotive, proving to be very popular because it's in the classic pre-1920 tradition, and most of our locomotives have been much later. Now we have a series of West Country class Battle of Britain locomotives with their respective coaches, and a British Railways version, and that one is Winston Churchill, which was named and hauled his funeral train. This is a Britannia, which is one of our very popular engines, where we managed to be foolish enough to use all the names of the class, which was something no other manufacturer would dream of doing. But being slightly maverick, we can sometimes do what we want to do, and we got away with it because they're all sold. And here's the schools class locomotive, which Hornby also made before the war, and there's various debates about whose is the most accurate. I have no doubts it's the one you see running around here. There is the Duchess class, which was one of our biggest orders for locomotives, and that one has the quite rare semi-streamlined smoke box, which very few other manufacturers, other than in plastic, have done. In plastic and HO have done, or double O. It's still running with the Bulliard tavern car, which only we have produced. Again, rather maverick choice, but that's the nature of being a small business that can be totally flexible and to an extent somewhat eccentric, in the sense that the Britannias, for instance, have opening smoke box doors, and we have fitted those to other ones. Here are some of the buildings that actually came off Dennis Jenkinson's layout up in the Lake District, and I managed to buy them and locate them on our various layouts. This red Coronation set being pulled by Duchess and Hamilton is the train that went in the late 1930s to America and got ensnared with the outbreak of war and never ran there, and was only returned later after the Second World War, and then never put into service on the LMS. But the blue one that you also saw running was, of course, in regular service in the UK before the war. And that is the Castle Hanover reproduction, followed in the parking line by the Hush Hush, which we don't intend to make. It's just a very interesting model which may have been from a kit or whatever. Here is a little reminder of our other great project, the London Toy Model Museum, and that's a little Ford Popular van that we made as a souvenir item. Running through is a Duchess, which was unquestionably one of our most popular locomotives in that range, as it was an iconic Hornby Doublo model after the war. And now some of our customers are really upsizing by buying our model of something that Hornby did in Doublo. That is a Jubilee locomotive which has been very popular, and LMS coaches, which again we made in tremendous variety for a very specialised business. We have not ignored the freight aspect of model railways, and we built a series of engines which used to pull enormous loads, particularly the 9F, which you see here. I think that's Evening Star, and all these private owner wagons were made in great variety to give those locomotives adequate stock to pull, because they are very powerful. They are 210Os, which gives them tremendous adhesion and weight in the right place. Again, we're not aware of any other manufacturer who has produced a locomotive like that is remotely affordable. Here is one of our first diesel projects, the warship, named Duchess, with sound integral to the locomotive, so one doesn't have to get involved in all this digital wizardry, which invariably gives problems. And that was made via red tree models, and the red tree in fact is the tree you are seeing in the background, which will turn red at some point, but of course hasn't done when we shot the video. This is our 264 tank, which was modelled on virtually a reproduction with improvements of the Bassett Loke version, and these coal wagons are unique. This is the Metropolitan contribution that Ace has made, which was basically developed to celebrate the 150th anniversary of the Metropolitan Railway, which of course runs round in this district. That's the wartime version in grey, and the canopy you see, or have seen several times, was one of the very early accessories we made as a kit, and my wife, I think, held the record for the speed at which she could erect one of these kits, which baffled an awful lot of other people because it was quite complicated. This was one of my favourites, which is the Westinghouse steeple cab, which was made in gauge 1 by Carrette in 1912, incredibly rare, vastly expensive. But it was never made in gauge O, and we decided quite a number of years ago to make it in gauge O. I think I ought to pay tribute to the input of Vicari Wheel, or Peter Vicari, of Vicari Wheel, for the production of this video, which has got great acclaim amongst professionals in other fields. And I'll also pay tribute to Tim Shearer, who constructed the layout using mainly brand new scaffolding boards for the baseboard and other trickery, which has made it one of our more satisfying layouts.